I, 25F, just destroyed my closest friendship and I don't know if I did the right thing, or if I'm a terrible person. My best friend Jessica, 24F, isn't speaking to me, and our entire friend group is split down the middle. But there's so much more to this story that makes it way more complicated than it seems. Jessica has been dating her boyfriend Ryan, 26M, for 2 years. On the surface, they seem perfect together. He's charming, successful, and treats her well in public. Jessica is completely in love with him and has been talking about marriage and kids. She even showed me the engagement ring she's been hinting about for months. But here's what Jessica doesn't know. I've been secretly in love with her since college. We've been best friends for 6 years, and I've never told her how I feel because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. I've watched her date guy after guy, always hoping she might realize we could be something more. When Ryan came along, I thought it was just another relationship that would eventually end. 3 months ago, I saw something that changed everything. I was at a coffee shop downtown when I spotted Ryan at a corner table with another woman. They weren't just talking. They were holding hands, kissing, and acting like a couple. The woman was beautiful, probably around his age, and they seemed completely comfortable together like they'd been dating for a while. I sat there for 20 minutes watching them, taking pictures on my phone as proof. Part of me was horrified for Jessica, but I'm ashamed to admit that another part of me was excited. If Ryan was cheating, Jessica would break up with him, and maybe I'd finally have a chance to tell her how I feel. When I got home, I debated for hours about whether to tell Jessica immediately. But then I remembered what happened 6 months earlier when I tried to warn her about red flags I was seeing in Ryan's behavior. She got really upset with me and said I was being jealous and trying to sabotage her happiness. She made me promise to stay out of her relationship unless she specifically asked for my opinion. So instead of telling her right away, I decided to investigate more. I started following Ryan's social media more closely, and I noticed he was often posting from places that didn't match what Jessica said they were doing together. When Jessica thought he was working late, his location tags showed he was at restaurants and bars across town. I also started paying attention to his behavior when we all hung out in groups. Ryan would get texts and step away to answer them, claiming they were work calls. But I noticed he always seemed happier and more energetic after these work calls. He also started being less affectionate with Jessica in public, like he was distracted by something else. Here's where it gets really complicated. I hired a private investigator. I know that sounds insane, but I had to know for sure what was going on. I spent $800 of my savings to have Ryan followed for 2 weeks. I told myself I was protecting Jessica, but honestly, I was also protecting my own interests. The PI's report was devastating. Ryan wasn't just cheating with one woman. He was seeing at least 3 different people behind Jessica's back. The main woman I had seen at the coffee shop was actually his ex-girlfriend from college, who he'd never really broken up with. They've been together the entire time he's been dating Jessica. The other 2 women were more casual relationships, but the PI had photos of Ryan being intimate with all of them. The report showed that Ryan would tell Jessica he was traveling for work, but he was actually spending weekends with his ex-girlfriend. He was living a complete double life. But here's the part that made me feel sick. The PI also discovered that Ryan had been talking about Jessica to these other women. He would make fun of her to his ex-girlfriend, calling her naive and easy to fool. He told one of the casual hookups that Jessica was just practice for marriage, and that he was planning to dump her after he got bored. I had all the evidence I needed to expose Ryan completely, but when I tried to approach Jessica about it, she cut me off before I could even start. She said, "I know what you're going to say about Ryan, and I don't want to hear it. You've never liked him, and you always try to find problems in my relationships. Please just let me be happy." She then made me promise again not to interfere with her relationship. She said that if I really cared about her as a friend, I would respect her choices and stop looking for reasons to criticize Ryan. She said she was tired of having to defend her relationship to me, and that it was putting strain on our friendship. So I promised. I told her I would stay out of her relationship and support whatever made her happy. But having all that evidence and not being able to use it was eating me alive. Every time I saw Jessica talking excitedly about her future with Ryan, I felt like I was betraying her by staying silent. Things got worse when Jessica started planning her birthday party last month. She was so excited because Ryan had promised to throw her a surprise party at his apartment. She spent weeks talking about how romantic it was going to be, and how it proved Ryan was serious about their relationship. But I knew Ryan's apartment wasn't available that weekend because the PI's report showed he had plans with his ex-girlfriend. I watched Jessica get more and more excited about this party that I knew wasn't going to happen. 3 days before her birthday, Ryan told her he had to cancel because of a work emergency. Jessica was heartbroken. She cried for hours on my couch, saying she felt like Ryan was pulling away from her, and she didn't understand why. She asked me if I thought something was wrong with their relationship. This was my moment to tell her everything, but I had promised not to interfere. Instead, I suggested we throw her a birthday party ourselves with our friend group. Jessica agreed, but she seemed sad the whole night because Ryan didn't even show up. He texted her saying the work situation was too stressful for him to socialize. Later that night, I saw on his ex-girlfriend's Instagram story that they were at a fancy restaurant together. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. Jessica called me crying because Ryan had been acting distant, and she was worried he might break up with her. She said she was thinking about surprising him by showing up at his apartment with dinner to try to reconnect. I knew from the PI's surveillance schedule that Ryan's ex-girlfriend would be there that night. If Jessica showed up, she would walk in on them together, and it would destroy her in the worst possible way. I couldn't let that happen. So I made a decision that I'm still questioning. I told Jessica I needed to show her something important and asked her to come over. When she arrived, I sat her down and said, "I know you asked me not to interfere, but I can't let you walk into a situation that will hurt you even more." Then I showed her everything. The photos from the coffee shop, the PI's report, the evidence of Ryan's other relationships, the screenshots of his cruel comments about her. I laid it all out on my coffee table and watched Jessica's world fall apart in real time. Her reaction was not what I expected. Instead of being grateful that I had protected her from further heartbreak, Jessica was furious with me. She started yelling about how I had violated her trust and invaded her privacy by having Ryan followed. She said I was obsessed with destroying her relationship and that she couldn't believe I had gone to such extreme lengths. But here's what really shocked me. Jessica said she already knew Ryan was cheating. She had suspected it for months and had even seen some messages on his phone. She said she was trying to decide what to do about it and didn't need me to make the decision for her. She told me that she had been planning to confront Ryan herself after her birthday, but she wanted to do it on her own terms. She said that by showing her all this evidence, I had taken away her agency and made her feel like an idiot for not acting sooner. Jessica also accused me of having ulterior motives for exposing Ryan. She said she knew I had feelings for her, and that I was probably hoping she would turn to me for comfort after breaking up with him. She said it made all my concern feel manipulative and self-serving. That accusation hit me like a punch to the gut, because it was partially true. Yes, I wanted to protect Jessica from getting hurt worse. But yes, I also hoped that getting Ryan out of the picture might open the door for us to be together. I had convinced myself that my motives were pure, but Jessica saw right through me. The worst part was when Jessica said, "You spent $800 to have my boyfriend followed, but you never once asked me how I was really feeling, or what I actually wanted. You made this whole situation about what you thought was best for me, not about what I needed." She was right. I had been so focused on proving Ryan was terrible that I never actually listened to what Jessica was going through. I never asked her if she wanted help or support. I just assumed I knew what was best for her and acted on it. Jessica left that night and hasn't spoken to me since. She did break up with Ryan, but she also cut me out of her life completely. She told our mutual friends that I had betrayed her trust and violated her privacy in an unforgivable way. She said that even though Ryan was a cheater, at least he never pretended his motives were selfless. Our friend group is completely divided. Some of them think I did the right thing by exposing a cheater, even if my methods were extreme. Others think I crossed a major line by hiring a PI and ignoring Jessica's explicit request not to interfere. A few people have stopped talking to me entirely because they think my behavior was stalker-like and creepy. The situation got even more complicated when Ryan found out about the investigation. He's been telling people that I'm obsessed with Jessica and that I deliberately sabotaged their relationship because I was jealous. Some of what he's saying is true, which makes it harder to defend myself. Ryan has also been spreading rumors that I'm unstable, and that Jessica should be worried about my obsessive behavior. He's been showing people the PI photos and saying that I must have paid a lot of money to destroy an innocent relationship. Even though he's a cheater, he's managing to make me look like the villain. The financial aspect is also haunting me. I spent $800 I couldn't really afford on this investigation. That money was supposed to go toward my car payment and groceries. Now I'm struggling financially, and I have nothing to show for it except a destroyed friendship and a reputation as a crazy person. I've been replaying the whole situation obsessively, wondering what I should have done differently. Maybe I should have just answered Jessica's direct question about whether something was wrong with her relationship. Maybe I should have found a way to warn her without revealing how much I had been investigating. Maybe I should have respected her wishes and stayed completely out of it. But then I think about Jessica potentially walking in on Ryan with his ex-girlfriend, or worse, accepting a marriage proposal from someone who was making fun of her behind her back. Could I really have lived with myself if I had let those things happen when I had the power to prevent them? The thing that makes this most painful is that I genuinely love Jessica and wanted to protect her. But my feelings for her definitely influenced my actions, and I can't pretend they didn't. I wanted to be her hero, and instead I became another person who betrayed her trust. Here's the latest development that's making everything worse. I found out yesterday that Jessica has been talking to Ryan again. They're not back together, but she's been accepting his apologies and considering giving him another chance. She told one of our mutual friends that at least Ryan only lied to her, while I lied to her and violated her privacy. This news is killing me because it feels like everything I did was for nothing. Jessica is potentially going back to someone who was cruel to her, and I've lost my best friend in the process. I'm starting to wonder if I made everything worse by interfering. I've also learned that the other women Ryan was seeing had no idea he was in a serious relationship with Jessica. When they found out about the investigation, they felt terrible and reached out to Jessica to apologize. This has created a whole network of women who were all hurt by Ryan's lies, but somehow I'm still the one everyone is angry with. The final thing that's eating at me, I realize that part of me is still hoping Jessica will eventually understand that I was trying to protect her and forgive me. But another part of me knows that my feelings for her made it impossible for me to handle this situation objectively. I don't know if I told her the truth because it was the right thing to do, or because I wanted Ryan gone. So Reddit, AITA for telling my friend her boyfriend was cheating after she asked me not to interfere? Was I right to prioritize protecting her from further heartbreak, even if it meant breaking my promise? Or did I cross an unforgivable line by hiring a PI and ignoring her explicit wishes about her own relationship? I miss my best friend terribly, and I don't know if there's any way to repair this damage. I keep wondering if Jessica would have been better off discovering Ryan's cheating on her own, even if it meant getting hurt worse in the short term. Jessica just texted me for the first time in 2 weeks. All it said was, "Ryan showed me more evidence that you've been following him even after our fight. We need to talk." I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm scared about what Ryan might have told her. I just realized that the PI I hired might still be investigating Ryan because I never officially called off the surveillance. If that's true, and Ryan figured it out, this situation is about to get much worse. The PI confirmed he's still been following Ryan because I never canceled the contract. Ryan has been documenting this and plans to file a restraining order against me. Jessica says she can't have someone this unstable in her life. I think I've lost her forever.